There are many problems involved in getting to Mars, most of them logistical. However, I'll give you a brief rundown on what the main issues faced are, and why. Now, you have your fancy interplanetary vehicle. You're halfway to Mars. Then you find out you didn't pack enough food for the trip. Next thing you know, you're dying from starvation before the week is out. Slow way to go, I know. Or you could end up running out of water, then drinking your own urine, and eventually poisoning yourself from your own pee, or just plain dehydrating without drinking pee. Quicker dead, but a lot more uncomfortable. Or you could run out of oxygen. You'll have asphyxiated within an hour, and probably be out cold when you die. So at least it won't be painful. But you are still dead. Not a very good way to arrive at Mars when you want to get into orbit, though. Next problem. Getting to the red planet. Well, this is the tricky bit. At best it'll be like hitting a target 9 centimeters across from 1,000 meters. With a slingshot. Not an easy feat to accomplish. You also need to miss the planet slightly so that you don't end up as a pancake on the surface of Mars, and can pick your landing spot. Another major issue is how to get people medical help when they need it. Without even a basic hospital within 7.48 times 10 to the 7 kilometers, you're in trouble if you break your neck. The next one involves getting information from Earth to the base on Mars, and vice versa. At the very best, there will be a 3-minute lag between Earth and Mars, simply because of the distance. Until we can figure out either faster-than-light travel or communication, then we will have a 3-minute wait until we find out about anything on Mars, or on Earth, making it at least a 6-minute round trip for information to be sent, and then replied to. There will also be periods of non-communication, where Earth is hidden from Mars by the Sun. The next problem is how to avoid being cooked by cosmic radiation on the trip. Here on Earth, we are protected from cosmic radiation by the Earth's magnetic field. Once we are no longer in orbit around the Earth, your spaceship is no longer protected, and your crew will face the full force of the sun's blast. Not pleasant. You'd be sunburnt within a minute. Okay, maybe an exaggeration, but the point still stands. The next problem won't need much explaining. You're stuck with only a few people for over a year. Good luck getting by without fighting at least half a dozen times. This problem we have faced for all of the decades we've been in space. The long-term effects of being in a zero-G environment. Being in space for 7 months, and then arriving on a planet without any medical facilities, is definitely going to cause havoc for anyone who goes. Next thing. It's hard enough getting to the moon without having to worry about big engines to get us off the surface. But with Mars, with more gravity and an atmosphere to contend with, we're going to need engines capable of supersonic speeds and enough fuel to get back home, which means more weight on takeoff, which means more fuel needed, which means more weight on takeoff. You get the point. There was one solution to that problem, and that would be to just, well, leave them there. To facilitate this, we would need to supply them with a way of producing a stable source of food, water, and oxygen, which would then bring us back to our first problem. Also, what do we do when they're dead? The final problem in getting to Mars is money. What more can I say? It's going to be expensive. The various space agencies around the world have proposed various solutions to some of these problems. These solutions include setting up a permanent base on Mars to solve the problem of coming back, but that brings up its own issues, most of which are already mentioned. Genetically modifying plants in order to create a sustainable crop in the harsh Martian landscape. Printing food with a 3D printer. They haven't taste tested the food yet, but it should last on the shelf for at least 15 years. Both of those last two solve the food shortage problem. And splitting up the construction of the interplanetary vehicle and or Mars base into stages, similar to how we built the International Space Station. How much progress have space agencies made on getting to Mars? To be perfectly honest, a shameful amount. Either that, or they're keeping it behind closed doors. However, a Dutch TV channel has started work on Mars 1, a project to get a colony set up on Mars. They have already opened applications, and to date, they have received over 78,000 applicants, which will be reduced to just 4 astronauts who will lead the first mission to Mars in 2020 to 22. They plan on setting up a permanent colony that requires minimal assistance from Earth, and know that the technology needed will be ready for the first of a series of rovers in 2015, which will start construction of the new base. All in all, a trip to Mars will be difficult, challenging, yet possible. With the first trips planned already, the progress already made means that it is inevitable that we will get people onto the red planet before the end of 2030. However, there are still many unknowns, and we can only guess at what the future has in store for us.